Hey guys, it is MissSimReno. If you are returning to the channel, welcome back. And if you're brand new, I am very excited that you decided to join me here today for another speed build. And today we are going to attempt to build a Dutch colonial home. And I say attempt, we end up, doing it. That's why this ended up being a video in the first place, but it was really hard. It was really, really difficult. I have mentioned this before. I struggle so much with Dutch colonial homes. I was working off of an image on Pinterest for inspiration because it's always the shape of the roof. It's always those pieces that really pose a challenge for me. Now, at the time of me recording this, I do not know if I have yet to post a big Dutch colonial seaside mansion that I built. Now, the story about that too, I explain it in the video. So again, it might be up on the channel. I don't know. I'm kind of like pre-recording some stuff. If it's up on the channel and you haven't watched it, go ahead and do that because I explain what's so darn special about that build and why it was such a headache for me. It's very important. It's very important. And the moral of the story is always back up your raw footage if you're like trying to pre-record or prepare things. Anyway, if it hasn't been posted yet, I'm so excited to share that one with you because it's built on a 50 by 40 and it's a pretty big home. I think it's a 5 or 6 bedroom and like a million baths. I don't know. There's like tons of bathrooms because what else are you going to do with these weird, awkward spaces? But anyway, we're not focusing on that. We're going to focus on this home. But anyway, the roofs, or the roof, the singular roof or the roofs. Very challenging with Dutch colonial homes for me. I always struggle with it. The shape is always very simplistic because I cannot work around those different shapes. But here, because I had that image on, actually it wasn't Pinterest, it was Google Images. Since I had an inspiration picture, I was able to kind of finagle a little bit. At this point in the video, at this point in the build, I wasn't super happy with just this little front piece. It seemed too small. It seemed a little bit too squished. So I was playing around trying to make it a little bit longer, trying to make the roof maybe like change the pitch of that to see if that balanced things out for me. But I really just was not liking that. So as I finagle a few different parts of this build, trying to move around like the chimney stacks and trying to get like a color scheme nailed down, which was also really tough for me for whatever reason, probably because I gravitate towards the same color schemes all the time and I try not to repeat them, but sometimes I can't help it. I end up actually widening that little front piece because it was just, again, like too squished for me. I make it just one tile wider and it balanced things out in a way that I could not have imagined if I hadn't like gone ahead and tried it. So I was really happy that I did, but I wanted to make sure I added all those little details and really pulled this together in a way that made me happy because it was a challenge. It really was. I always say this, and then I don't take my own advice, so just bear with me. I always say, like, you can make a box, like, actually, it's not even advice. It's really just kind of my thought. So a box, everyone's always like, oh, no, I can't build. I just build boxes. Boxes can be super appealing, okay? You can make any box in The Sims look great. I promise you can do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it. And then I get in and I start building things like this, and I'm like, it's trash. I don't like it. It is just a curse. We are our own worst enemies. So maybe there is a moral to this story, this rambling. I don't know. It is trust the process. And you might be looking at something that you're making and think that it's absolutely horrific, but then other people might absolutely love it. Like I was sharing pictures of this as a work in progress, not only on the community tab for my channel members, so they can kind of see the process, but I was sharing it with my friends and I was like, I think I hate this. I think I'm going to bulldoze it. And as per usual, it was Rachel and Reese, my dear friends. And Rachel, I'm pretty sure said something along the lines of like, don't you freaking dare. And so I didn't do it because I know she won't lie to me. And I know that if she's like, if don't bulldoze that, it's good or it has potential, like I should probably listen. So I did. I didn't bulldoze it. And I was trying out these cottage living windows because I love using them for homes that are not just cottages. I think they're really pretty and there's a lot of variety. But what I did, you can see here we have a general color scheme and I liked these blue / kind of dark teal shutters on those particular windows. But we do switch it over to just all white. So the windows are going to be all white and we do change up the siding a little bit too. So on the bottom, on the first floor, we have a base game siding that has brick and I think pretty much the same color of siding, and then we take that siding and we bring it up to the second story and we changed the color of the flower boxes to kind of a more subtle green, and I think it blended so nicely. And I widened that little top part there over the front door and it made all the difference in the world. Like I said, it felt balanced. I didn't feel the need to put windows on each side of it. Like on the wall, you know what I mean? Like kind of behind it on that second floor. It seemed so much more balanced and I was really happy about it. And that's when I started to get excited about the landscaping, because landscaping always pulls a build together. And what I did is I did this recently. I'll say recently because I have no idea when this is going up. Therefore, I can't assess the amount of time since I did this in this particular build. I don't remember. I just don't remember anymore. It was a Brightchester townhouse and I used a ton of Get Together debug menu items to do the landscaping, which I typically do, but I took a bunch of trees and I sized them down and I used the tool mod to kind of lower them into the ground to make them look like shrubs. And it just changed up the landscaping enough where it felt new and kind of refreshed and felt like I hadn't done it before. And I just think it made this build unique for me. You know, you might be looking at it and being like, yeah, it's nothing special. Like it's a Dutch Colonial. Good job. Like, yay for you. And I will say thank you. Thank you. Yes, I think I did it. But in all sincerity, I really did like the landscaping, and I hope you do like it too, because I really liked it. It felt a little bit different, and I thought it did make this home look a little bit more unique, and it stood out a little bit more from some of my other builds recently. So yeah, we ended up using a terrain paint from Get Together. Maybe I should slow down. And then I was toying around with different fencing. Now, I didn't fence in the entire lot, though the backyard, I believe, is fenced in. I tried this one from Get Together. It's kind of like a more so country wooden fence. It didn't really fit the look of this home. And then I remembered that there was one in base game. I couldn't originally remember exactly where it was in the menu, but it almost has kind of a pink hue to it. This one here, kind of like a pinkish, subtly cream stone, and I really liked it. It was very simple and it fit perfectly with what I was trying to work out here. So I used that stone here. I thought it was really, really nice. It framed the front of the lot really well. And then we ended up putting these little buckets of flowers from the cottage living debug menu as kind of like little entry pieces, and I thought that really tied it together. But then we move on to the interior. Now, even though I was so excited at having done the landscaping and loving how it was looking, I got inside and I was immediately frustrated with myself again. And I'm trying to be very honest and open about this process for this build in particular, because I've been having a rough go of it lately, you guys. I really have. I'm just gonna be completely transparent. Building lately has been so hard for me. I just have no inspiration. I look at inspiration pictures and then I just can't translate into the game. I'm gravitating towards the same objects. I just felt like I was getting in a rut with building and I couldn't come up with anything different. It started to feel like my builds were repetitive, which whenever I say that, someone always tells me they're not. Like you're doing fine. And even though I believe you, it does not change the feeling. And it's just because I build so much that everything feels repetitive, which is why I get so excited about new packs, because it's all brand new, right? It's brand new stuff. It doesn't feel repetitive. It feels like the possibilities are endless. So anyway, I have been in a huge, huge rut lately. And I'd probably say at the time of me recording this, it is July 5th, just to let you know, it is July 5th as I do this voiceover. And for the past probably month, I'd probably say the past month, maybe since my Growing Together LP has been put on like it's just seasonal hiatus until season 2 starts. I think since then, like I've been in a little bit of a building rut. You know, I built the home for that LP and I was so excited. I built 2 really big builds, like at least big for me, with that pack as well, that I was very, very excited about. And there were a few sporadic ones that I had pre-recorded that I posted throughout that time. But then I'd run out of pre-recorded builds. I had gone through like an apartment spur of just tons and tons of apartment renovations. So I felt like I ran dry of apartment ideas. And I was just stuck being like, what do I do with this build? I love the exterior. This build took me a total of like 10 hours. I swear 3 of them were probably on the exterior. And then another 5 were literally the first floor. And they were focused on the living room and the freaking kitchen. Okay, before we even did this kitchen here in front of us, I had tried to work on the living room 3 different times. So when we finally moved to the living room here, this is my 4th attempt. And that is very unusual for me. It's not unusual for kind of like the process every now and then. You know, we try out different color schemes, try out different objects, no big deal. But to literally furnish a whole room and then just get rid of it and try to start fresh, that doesn't happen very often with me. So I was getting so frustrated just with myself because I felt like I couldn't make decisions. I felt like I didn't know what went together. And I didn't know what style I was going for, so I was just kind of flailing around trying different objects, and that's a weird space to be in for me. For me, it felt very weird. This might be something that maybe you deal with all the time, and I don't want this to come off as if that's a problem. Like, that is part of the process, but when you do build as much as I tend to build, and then you're just like, I don't know what to build today. I don't know what to build. I don't know how to decorate it. I don't know what style to go for. I don't know if this works together. I don't know if this looks nice anymore. Felt like my judgment was off. I was kind of panicking. Like, I was literally panicking. But it wasn't until I got this living room together and then just didn't look at it again that I started to feel okay with it. And I did like this living room. I thought it was really cozy and soft and calming. And like the light that comes through this window over here, it's just so, so beautiful. And I just felt like this was a really nice family space. Now, this is also, let me mention, this is for a family of 5. That may or may not be in the title. And it is for 2 parents, a teen, a kid, and an infant. Yeah, an infant, I think. I think I made a nursery with a crib. So yeah, it's a family home. And that, once I had made that decision, placing those like decorative toy baskets over there, I was like, okay, I think I can work with this. And I made a change to the wallpaper. You can see I got rid of the paneling from, the wainscoted like paneling or whatever it is from Parenthood, and I switched over to this one from Cats and Dogs. Let me tell you, never use this. I literally never use this because I feel like the colors are just too much, or they don't fit with a lot of the items we have in game, but they work great with, Cats and Dogs, for example. But I adored it in this build, and then I chose that green console table with the blue shaded, what's it called? Lamp, and then these green curtains around the accordion door. And I was just thinking, oh, we've done it. Okay, this is like this soft, pastel-y, colorful look that we're going to go for in this house. It's going to be warm and welcoming. There's going to be some like distressed whites. There's going to be creams. There's going to be these softer brown colors in the wood and the floor. We're going to get some like mossy green, but also some bright blue. And you've got kind of this subtle yellow and salmon tones on the pillows in the living space. I don't know. It all came together, and that's when I was like, you know what? No real color scheme per se, but these things look good together, and I'm just going to go with it. Maybe the rooms will match. Maybe they won't. Let's see how it goes. And that was very, very freeing for me. Finally, after I got that dining room, I was like, I can do this. I can do this, and I love this build. And that's the thing, is I always want to love the builds that I put out for you all. It is not something that I take lightly. I do not want to build something and be like, I hate this, but here you go. Like, why would I do that? Why would I do that? Why would I do that to myself? Why would I do that to you? I won't do it. So I have to love every single build that I put out. And since I was struggling so much with this one, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to love it. I don't even know if I'm going to finish this. So this could end up in the abandoned build, like, file. It could just be gone. And that would make me so sad because I really like the exterior. But I pushed through. I found a way to do it. And I really like this home. So unsolicited advice from someone that you may or may not care to take advice from. If you are experiencing like builder's block or you're doubting yourself, easier said than done, but don't. You can do it. You can make something amazing. Trust the process, be patient with yourself, and be kind to yourself. And that is advice that I have to take for myself more often than I care to admit. Anyway, I don't know where this ranting came from. I am just in a mood lately, but this is a full bathroom on the first floor. And the reason for this is because upstairs, now the primary bedroom, I often try to do this if I can. I try to give the primary bedroom an ensuite bathroom, and then there might be an additional full bathroom for like kids and teens and things like that. But upstairs, I wasn't able to do that. I think the teen has the ensuite bathroom, and then there's a full bathroom that, let's say, the kid and the parents can use, as well as, the infant for bathing the infant, and there's a half bathroom upstairs. But since I had the opportunity down here to do a full bathroom, I decided that was going to be a good idea. Oh, actually, there's 2 of them. I didn't record one. I'm remembering. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. But there's like a laundry room, and then through another door, there is a bathroom with a toilet, sink, and a bathtub. This has a shower tub combo. So there are actually, I'm going to call them 2 full bathrooms that are on the first floor, which is great. So with 5 Sims in the house, where you might be able to squeeze in more. I don't know. It's possible. If you have like bunk beds, you could probably do it. But there's 2 full bathrooms downstairs. There's an ensuite for the teen, full bathroom upstairs, another full bathroom upstairs, and a half bathroom. So we've actually got like 4.5 bath here with 4 bedrooms, right? We get parents' bedroom, teen bedroom, kid bedroom. Yeah, four. There's 4 of them. I had to count. Yeah, there's 4 bedrooms. It works out great. But that is what we're working on now. So we're up on the 2nd story, and I did do a little bit more of like an open staircase here. And this, I don't know, this was a little bit weird for me. It had never, when I lay down a low-lying fence, it usually doesn't delete the staircase. It did in this instance, and I don't know why. I also had to play around with one of the kind of like trims outside. I had to move one of the roof pieces to make sure it didn't clip in. It worked out great. It doesn't always work out with certain builds, but it worked out here. And the first room that we do work on is the parents' bedroom. I really like this bedroom. It is very soft. It's cozy. It's very welcoming. I would certainly love this bedroom, though I think this blue is a little bit bright for me. But it worked out nicely because I did want to match it with just kind of the soft creams and the seafoam green in the curtains. And then we've got the blue shade on those lamps as well. And I used a lot of more so like white pieces of furniture, but we do have kind of the cream color in the end tables from the Book Nook kit. And then there's also an armchair. It's a very plainly decorated bedroom. I had a lot of wall space to spare, which really led me to try to clutter all of it up. So I did add some artwork. I've got a few faux hampers here. Now, since there is laundry in this build, and I always space on doing this when I add real laundry in the build and then I put faux hampers anywhere, my recommendation would be, if you wish to keep the laundry, change these faux hampers to some of the functional hampers in the game so there aren't piles of clothes quite literally everywhere you turn. But that is pretty much it for the primary bedroom. I think I just add an ottoman at the end of the bed here, and that's it for decoration. Oh, actually it's these poofs. Oh, look at me go, trying to change it up. I don't know, I was trying to do something else. And then this over here ends up being the nursery. Now I got stuck again on this nursery trying to figure out a color scheme. Now, when I do color schemes for nurseries, unless I have a particular idea as to who I'm making the nursery for. So for example, you know, when I was doing, well, I didn't record it, but when I was making an apartment for my other LP Platonic, I knew that I was making a little corner for like a little baby boy. And here I just wanted to make a nursery. I just wanted to find a color scheme that worked. So I was going to go with some greens and some soft creams. I thought that would be really pretty. I was going to use that little like froggy rug, but it was too vibrant. I couldn't find a green rug that was subtle enough to kind of match everything else. So I played around with colors a lot in this room. And I think the next cut that you're gonna see in this video is me stripping back the nursery again and giving it another go. It took me 3 or 4 times to nail down a color scheme for this nursery. So again, I got like very frustrated with myself. I don't know. I just want to share that because sometimes people think it comes together really easily, and it really doesn't. But here, this is what we end up going for. I brought this paneled wall with the cream and the white paneling or wainscoting, whatever you want to call it, into this room as well that I use throughout the entire house. And we go with kind of like this seafoam green and blue color scheme. And I really liked it. It was soft. It was very peaceful. And then we cluttered it the heck up because that's what I do with like infant, toddler, children, and teen rooms because that's my opportunity to do it. I put this little shelf over the changing station. We have a little stuffed dog toy in the corner. I think it shifts elsewhere, but we keep it. We also have those faux decorative things of toys. We've got the pillow from the Little Campers kit, a little like organizer thing over there in the corner from Dream Home Decorator. And I just wanted it to be something that your infant could grow into as well. Now, you can actually take the cribs that we have for infants and you can, I think you might need the handiness skill or you might just have to pay simoleons to do it. I don't really remember, but I think you can upgrade it to turn it into a toddler bed. So technically speaking, I think the toddler bed would fit there. You might have to shift something if you take that route. And of course, once that toddler becomes a child, you got to change most things around anyway. But I wanted it to be a nursery that your infant could actually grow into as well. It's a decent sized room. So I didn't just like stuff the infant in the equivalent of a closet, you know? Which is nothing wrong with. I've done that in builds before. But for this one, since I had the space, I wanted to try to make sure that it could be something that your infant could grow into. So I put 2 bookshelves now that I think about it, because there's that one on the wall with like the little like books that, you know, babies would look at. And then we have like more of a kid's bookshelf there. We also have a playmat over here, but it works out. I really liked it. I thought it was cute. And then we end up working on the kids' room. I did furnish the bathroom off to the right-hand side. You can see it off camera just because there were so many bathrooms and it was taking me so long to finish this build. So I did it off camera, but this ends up being the kids' room, and I think that this kids' room turned out really fun. I ended up actually platforming the space where the bed is just to give a little bit of dimension to the room as well. And I also didn't know what kind of theme I wanted to go for. at all. So I tried to go for a subtle sports theme, and I was also trying to use this bed from, what is it called? Snowy Escape. I end up, I think keeping the swatch with the snowboard because it just represents another sport. You know, we've got like the soccer and the baseball and the basketball on the wallpaper. We've got the soccer lamp. I think I put some different, athletic clutter and some posters and stuff in this room as well to represent that. But I think keeping this bed and tying in snowboarding was also kind of a cool touch. But you can see that this is where I added the platform. Again, just adding a little bit of dimension and fun to this room and separating the spaces. This child does have a desk. They've got, I think, a bookshelf. They've got a dresser. And I don't think I gave them the journal or anything like that. I was thinking this was more so the desk where they could just do their homework. I don't know what other activities I gave them. I think I gave them, of course, a few toys. Like we've got like this Bigfoot toy that I absolutely love using in kids' rooms, infant rooms, toddler rooms. But yeah, I don't know. There aren't a ton of functional items in here, but there could be opportunity to add more if you wanted to, depending on the kind of child that you wanted to put in this build. Like I have these crafting materials, but I didn't give them an actual, what's it called? Creativity table. That's what it's called. I didn't give them a creativity table because I just didn't feel like I had the space with all the other things that I wanted to add. But as always, if you download my build, you can change whatever the heck you would like and make it your own, because even though I have a certain family in mind, it doesn't mean that your family is going to match up exactly to this build. You know what I mean? You got to make adjustments for your Sims. You got to feel it out. But I also made this room very, very cluttered, I would say. Like we've got that kid's clutter on the floor. We've got a pillow. You got the dresser just like covered in stuff, and you got the desk covered in things. We have a mirror behind the dresser, and then we have a ton of different posters on the wall, like I mentioned. We also have like this pop-up book and this rocket ship craft that they put together. And I put a few Star Wars figurines as well. I don't know. Maybe they like space a little bit too, since we've got the rocket ship. They like space. They like sports. They like crafts. They like everything right now. They're a kid, right? We also have this set of headphones because why the heck not? I've literally no good reason other than the fact that I liked it. We've got some unput away clothes on top of the hamper. We've got the height chart with like the cow abduction, which I'm just noticing, and that's actually super funny to me. And then I have a couple of posters. We've got the soccer poster, we've got like kids crafts somewhere, and then I end up just putting a few more, like I think I put this pendant here, yeah, from high school years on the wall, just 'cause, again, they're into sports, so that could be representative of football, because I think there's a football on there. I also put these skateboards. I always picture those, I size them up every time, I always picture them more so as surfboards, but every now and then I keep them around the same size. So maybe this kid also likes skateboarding. Like they're just super active. They love everything to do with athletics and sports. Maybe they're really competitive too, but not when it comes to school. Like they really don't care about their grades, and maybe their parents are always on them being like, you have to keep your grades up if you want to end up playing sports when you go to like high school or something. So he keeps his grades up. I was thinking of a son in this case, and I think he keeps his grades up because he's like, oh, I just really want to be able to play all of the sports, and if I have to go ahead and keep my grades up, I'll do it. I don't know, that's definitely a stereotype, but I thought it was a fun idea, at least for like a younger kid. Maybe as they get older, they'll kind of mature and be like, yes, I understand education is important, but also I'd like to play all the sports. I don't know, it's just a thought. And now here I was going to do another kid's room, but I was running dry on ideas, so I stripped back the wallpaper and I thought, you know what, we're going to do a teen room, and it's going to be extremely subtle. Very minimal, I think, and a little bit contemporary, a little bit more contemporary maybe than other parts of the home. So I chose this bed from high school years, and I just chose like the plain white swatch, but it's got this nice delicate kind of like flower detail on the comforter. I have these lamps from Seasons that have like purple and yellow kind of subtle colors too. I think I might... I can't recall. I might keep that purple dresser, but it was a little bit too much for me. Yep, I knew it. It was a little bit too much, and I moved on to this one from Cats and Dogs, which I adore. It's one of my go-tos, and I gave them a camera. They have a bookcase in here. As you can see, I used a ton of different photo frames around the build just to add some wall decorations, but also give you all the opportunity to fill all those frames. I put a soccer ball and a trophy. I think that's a cheerleading trophy. I was just thinking of it as a generic trophy, but maybe they're kind of into sports. Maybe they narrowed it down to like one sport. They've got their old like lunchbox and like corded phone there on top as well. I just thought that was kind of nice. You know what it made me think of? Oh, I'm going to cry as I say this. I was thinking of Jessie in Toy Story 2 when she just like got forgotten under the bed and you see time pass, and you see her, like her person, Emily, is that her name? I don't remember. And you see her kind of like painting her nails with her friends. And then you see like some sports equipment or something. And then you see her dragging the corded phone across the floor as she's on the phone with her friends. Like, that's kind of what I was thinking. So I was thinking of, time passed. Made me really sad. How dare she do that to our Jessie? You know what I mean? It's messed up. Poor Jessie. Anyway, there's just a few more clutter items on top of the dresser. We have like some shoes over there on top of the boxes. We've got like makeup up on the dresser, perfume, and like little sticky notes, and just other little clutter items. The nail polish. Oh my gosh, I honestly went full Toy Story right here. I'm upset. And then I add a few pieces of artwork. I think we've got a poster above the bed over here. We might change it actually to a tapestry. I also add those little photos in the shape of a heart, the Polaroids on the door, which I do a lot. And that's pretty much it for the interior. Then we move on to the backyard, which, like I mentioned earlier, is all fenced in, but I did have to carry the landscaping through to the back. And the backyard is very scarcely decorated. There aren't a lot of activities. I think there is a single bike and a swing set, and then we've got an outdoor dining table, as well as I think there's a grill, and then there's a rocking chair on the back porch. I have been, not just with builds, I just mentioned this entire voiceover was basically me saying I'm struggling with builds, but truthfully, backyards I always struggle with because I don't know how to design them, and I didn't want to fill it with so many activities that it was just overwhelming. And to me, it felt like it was going to be very overwhelming. So to kind of like keep myself in check, I focused on the landscaping first, tried to see how much space I was really going to have, and then I ended up just adding those activities that I mentioned earlier. There's great opportunity to add maybe something like a chess table. Oh no, wait, I get rid of the swing set. I thought about it. I added the treehouse. I hadn't used the treehouse since I did builds with Growing Together, and it's because it's so big. Like, it's such a big object. But anyway, that is pretty much it for the build. I'll leave you all with the screenshots. Thanks for bearing with me through this voiceover. I cannot wait to hear your thoughts, and I will catch you next time I post a video, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Hey, you couldn't see it coming. You might have thought it, but you couldn't change it. Hey, it's not right or wrong. It's about trying, find the silver lining. Rain and fire, highs and lows, you name it. Cold and warmth, laughs and cries, you have it. The world goes by, and by the time it does, you missed it. You didn't see it, flew by. 'Cause time's not waiting for me or you. You will miss it if you don't catch it in time. In time. Say yes rather than no. Don't let your fears lead. Light is at your feet. Yes, regret is worse than